Good morning, Manna Church. I'm Jeff Christensen, and welcome to part 2 of our look at a life of abiding for Morning Manna. We're diving into John 15 to examine this theme of Jesus as our truest source of life and fruitfulness. So if you haven't watched part 1 yet from yesterday, I encourage you, go back and do that. Now, in part 1, we saw in the first verse of chapter 15 that Jesus said, "I am the true vine." Now, we'll go back and we'll look at the part after that about the vine dresser. But for today, I want us to skip ahead to verse 5, where Jesus says, "I am the vine and you are the branches." Jesus tells his disciples here that they are the branches. Those who follow Jesus are the branches connected to him as the true vine. They get their life from him. They get everything they need from him. He's their sustenance, or that which sustains them. And also, we want to drill down on this part that came up yesterday, that Jesus calls his followers to rely on him for all of their needs, and he calls them to be fruitful. So what does it mean to be fruitful? What's Jesus getting at here with that? Well, there's a few things that come to mind. We see the metaphor of fruit bearing used throughout the Bible as a way of illustrating the increase or multiplication of that which has already begun. In the case of John 15, we see clearly that God's plan of redemption worked through Jesus has already started. So Jesus is absolutely referring here to the continuation, increase, and multiplication of that work through the lives of his followers. There's a call to bring people to a saving knowledge of Jesus. That's certainly part of this. But the call to fruitfulness here is also the demonstration of God's character, of Jesus' character, to the surrounding world. If you notice, one of the words used a significant amount of times in this passage is love. In fact, that's a big theme throughout John's gospel and throughout all of John's writings in the New Testament. Undoubtedly, Jesus wants his followers to increase in love. Love for him, love for each other, and love for those who are lost. I mean, if we look at Galatians 5, which talks about the fruit of the Spirit, the first fruit that's mentioned there is love. So this call to fruitfulness in love is something that Jesus meant for his disciples, whom he was addressing in John 15. It was meant for the audience that John was writing to when he composed his gospel, but it's also meant for us today. Jesus has called us, he's called you to be fruitful, to multiply for his kingdom, to bring people to a saving knowledge of him, and to multiply in your love for him and your love for others. Honestly, if we're going to lead people to Jesus, the only way we can do it is by loving others well, by showing them the love of Jesus at work in us. And you may be thinking, man, this call to multiply in love is a big order. I'm not sure that I'm capable of that. How do I go about that? Well, the answer is right here in the text. Jesus said it in verse 9. He said, "Just as the Father has loved me, I have also loved you. Abide in my love." He said, abide in his love. That's the answer. Make a habit out of going to Jesus and experiencing his love daily. Get filled with his love. Read his word. Talk to him. Let him talk to you. Jesus loves you perfectly. Become convinced of that. When you do, his love will flow through you in ways that will surprise you. Good to be with you today, Manna Church. Come back tomorrow for part 3 of our look at a life of abiding for Morning Manna. I'll see you then.